In this series, we're going to begin building a simulation game called Moon Mist Hollow. It will model the behavior of a community. The members of the community will interact with each other according to rules that are chosen by the player. But the player will not directly control the characters. The idea is simply to have them respond to the rules chosen by the player. The characters will each have their own personalities and traits that will determine how they individually react to each rule. For instance, a rebellious character may refuse to obey a rule that would cause them to hurt one of their friends, whereas an obedient character could decide to follow the rule regardless of the personal cost. In another case, a mischievous character might decide to break one of the rules simply to gain an advantage. Eventually, we also want to give the player access to rules that could help deal with rule breakers. But again, the player won't be able to directly control any of the characters. Instead, they will simply determine what rules they wish to apply. At first, the player will start out with a minimal amount of loyalty as a ruler. If they create rules that satisfy the community, then their influence will grow, and the community will develop further. This will expand the rules they are allowed to apply. The game will end if their rules lead to chaos. In this case, the characters will simply remove them as leader. In this first series of videos, we will build up to the point where the community will respond to a simple rule about how they should move around on the map. Here, you can see the characters respond to a movement rule where they can either be in an idle state or a wander state. This will be the goal of the first series. In future series, we will add more complex behaviors and rules. The application in the code will be available free of cost. The project is intended to be a collaboration with the community. It would be great to see community versions of the game that are taken in different directions from the main development on this channel. I will gladly showcase some of this work on the main channel. If there are any concepts that come up in the videos that you would like to know more about, then please leave a comment. I would be happy to create additional videos that expand on specific topics without all of the details of the full game. Throughout this first series, we will introduce many of the core concepts involved with developing a game in Unity. These first 16 videos will develop the base of the application. We will put in place most of the major systems that will be used throughout the development. This base will be available separately in its own GitHub repo, so that you can always come back to this as a foundation. After this first series, the rest of the development will be in the main GitHub repo for the project. Both code bases and all of the assets are entirely free to use for your own projects. Let's get started.